Grayson Chrisley, 17, of Todd and Julie Chrisley, confesses that he has grown bitter since his parents' detention, and that having them in prison is worse than them dying. Todd and Julie Chrisley's son Grayson Chrisley has spoken openly about how he is coping with their incarceration, claiming it is worse than them dying. The 17-year-old appeared on his sister Savannah Chrisley's Unlocked podcast this week, and discussed the toll visiting his parents in their different jails had on him over the previous 5 months. He remarked, "To me, it's worse than them dying, because they are present but are not present. Therefore, the only thing being squandered is time. In other words, if someone passed away, you won't be able to spend any more time with them, so that's it." Savannah questioned her younger brother on the idea of trying to look at things from the standpoint that at least they are still present for hugs and I love yous. He responded, "I mean, absolutely, but I get to do all that within a time constraint." The Chrisleys were sentenced to jail in January after being found guilty in June 2022 of conspiring to cheat the IRS, tax evasion, and bank fraud. Julie, 50, is serving 7 years at a federal prison in Lexington, Kentucky, while Todd, 54, is serving 12 years at a facility in Pensacola, Florida. In their absence, Savannah, 25, has taken on the role of primary guardian for Grayson and Chloe, her 10-year-old niece. She and her younger brother talked about the challenges of going back and forth to see their parents during her most recent podcast episode. Grayson admitted that he sometimes finds it difficult to endure back-to-back weeks since he just stays in that mood until Thursday or Friday before starting it all over again, and never really emerging from it. "I'm okay this Saturday, it dawns on me on Sunday, then Sunday through Thursday are difficult, and then we return on Friday and everything is the same," he continued. After seeing their parents, Savannah said she feels renewed, but Grayson said the continual trip has become a vicious cycle, and that sometimes they butt heads over it. "I don't want to stay home, but I'm also 17. He said. Savannah remarked, he also struggles when he skips a visit and misses their parents by 3 or 4 weeks. He concurred, saying, "It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's challenging since they advise you to live your life. You're a teenager. You can't go every weekend," he remarked. "And even though they stated that, you still feel horrible when you decide not to go. Even when you are aware that they are sympathetic, you yet feel guilty." Grayson also talked about what it was like to have his 17th birthday last month without his parents, joking that it sucked. He admitted to his sister that his birthday wasn't the best one he had ever had. "However, given that mom and dad aren't around, I didn't anticipate it to be. So, yes, kind of a bummer." Grayson was open about the fact that he is bitter about the predicament his family is in and will likely remain so for a very long time. He said, "There will always be a part of you that is bitter. There is no avoiding it. For as long as they're there, it's going to be terrible." According to a source close to the Chrisley family, Todd has been having trouble adjusting to life in prison since the family's predicament became apparent. It already seems like a lifetime to him because 12 years is a very, very long time. Todd's sense of helplessness is growing. He understands that his avarice is to blame for everything, the insider claimed. Todd frequently bragged about the affluence of his family, including things like the $250,000 vintage Corvette he bought during their criminal investigation, the 2 residences he had that were worth a combined $9 million, the $300,000 he spent year on clothing, and more. Before they were abruptly taken off the air by the USA Network, their reality show Chrisley Knows Best and its offshoot, Growing Up Chrisley, provided a platform for them to flaunt their extravagant lifestyle. The Chrisleys spent the money on real estate, luxury automobiles, fashionable clothing, and travel. After Todd and Julie were found guilty, the Department of Justice released a statement and used new fraudulent loans to pay back old ones. Todd Chrisley filed for bankruptcy and walked away from more than $20 million of the fraudulently obtained loans after spending all the money. Prior to going to prison, the couple was required to make more than $17 million in restitution. They also have their son Chase, who is 27 years old, and Savannah and Grayson. With his ex-wife Teresa Terry, Todd also has a son named Kyle, 31, and a daughter named Lindsay, 33. Todd and Julie were granted custody of Chloe, the child of his son Kyle, in 2016. Although they continue to insist on their innocence, the Chrisleys' chances of succeeding in their appeal against their conviction are minimal. They were informed by